everyone, Merry Christmas, or is it too early to say that? No, I think we're okay now. We're into double-digit December, aren't we? So I think we're okay to start kind of feeling a bit Christmassy. Excuse me, I'm just going to feel a bit Christmassy now. Cheers. Oh, dear me. I would like to say it's the first of the week, but it hasn't been. I blame Morrison's. They've had it, this stuff. It's only Carling, but they've had it on offer. So you know you got to take advantage of these things while they're there, haven't you? Anyway, yes, the special guest we've got dropping in tonight. We've got Dan from Scott Guitars, the man responsible for this beautiful work of art that you see in all the videos. He's going to be dropping in to join us tonight. Dan, I've sent you the link, mate. Anytime you want to click on it and just join us here, then feel free. I can add you into the stream at any point, so just click on the link when you're ready, mate. Let's just see who we've got in the chat, shall we? Take the register, as we say. David Evans first in tonight. Congratulations, mate. And Mr. Wrong is saying, hi, John. I know you're not really a fan of offset guitars. However, have you ever tried any Reverend guitars? I haven't. That is still very much on my to-do list. Then we've got Johnny Random, Michael Palmer, Stephen Tatton, Cal B, Anton, Vincent Brennan, Peter Collins, Ian Clark. How are you, Ian? Anton, did I mention you earlier? Apologies if I did. Cal B's in. Ian Lewis. Chip Young. John Ross. Peter S. Jack Collins. And Scott Guitars is in. Yeti Goose Creature. Yes. There's got to be a story behind that moniker, hasn't there? Maybe you should share it sometime. Brad Matthews is in. Who else we got? Deco Dude, Jason Carter. Haven't seen Ozzy in for a while. Does anybody know what's up with him? What he's doing nowadays? Is he busy on a Friday night? 60s Man is in. So is Pablo Hank and Kieran Roberts and Chris Ottowell. Michael Dodd saying, John, are the shutters down next week? They're inching down, Michael. Yeah, I'm on a bit of a wind down next week, and then I'm taking the week between Christmas and New Year off, which also means, sadly, no videos that week. But, you know, you can all be watching all the wonderful television that's on over Christmas instead. Thomas Mulvaney's in, and JT, Mike Hurley, and Gearview Mirror, Jeff Rock, the Essex Cat, Sargie's in, Mississippi Blues, Johnny Love, Steve Lamb, and Big Bucky and Craig Stamen. So nice to see you all in. It's you know, I sit here every Friday evening and not having a clue what I'm going to talk about for an hour or so, and somehow we all seem to muddle through, don't we? Big Bucky saying hello from Toronto. Well, hello from you know, quite a mild it has been today at North Yorkshire. You know, it was bizarre. I went out with a dog this morning, and I went out just about 6:30. Get up at daft o'clock in the morning, and outside our front door, there was like the road was damp, you know, but it wasn't icy or anything. Then, literally one street away, as I was on my way to that field where I walk the dog. All of the cars were sort of like white with frost, and the road was icy. So it's bizarre how it can change from one street to the next. So while I've got your attention, let me tell you what's coming up in the last week of videos on the channel for 2021. Oh, I see Dan's in. I'll drop you in a moment, mate. Coming up this week on the channel, we have got there's on Sunday there is the follow-up video on this guitar, the Pacifica, where I play it in a mix and, you know, all the usual stuff, solo, tab, all that kind of thing. Then on Monday, there is a solo analysis of, I think, a classic rock ballad from the early 80s. So just think what that one might be. Then Tuesday, last week I did my 5 favourite gear reviews of 2021. What I'm doing on Tuesday, it's Top 5 Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the things I would like to see in 2022. Not exactly predictions, but just like a wish list of things I would like to see that are guitar related in 2022. Then on Wednesday, I've had a special request to do a bit of a theory breakdown of a bona fide Christmas classic song. So that's what's happening on Wednesday. It was one of the songs that I mentioned on my 5 favourite Christmas tunes episode as well. So we shall see if we can guess which one that might be. I'll just tell you, it's Christmas. That might kind of drop you a wee hint. Then on Thursday, what am I doing on Thursday? I've forgotten what Thursday's video is. Oh yes, Thursday's video. It's I'm jumping on the Beatles Get Back bandwagon, where I'm basically going to be talking about that Beatles documentary that I've watched a couple of times through and giving you my thoughts on it. And I think it's about time we got our guest in. So let's bring Dan in. Here he is. There he is, Dan from Scott Guitars. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. You, John?
Good. Right, so you've seen his guitars, or you've seen his guitar, everyone, in multiple videos. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now before we get into a bit of a natter, Dan. You sent me that picture earlier, and am I okay showing that?
Not sure. Yeah, I've got it here anyway. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Kieran, I know you're in the chat there, mate. This is what your guitar looks like. You know, at the moment. So I've just got to tick a few boxes and here we go, entire screen. Right, it doesn't seem to want to let me do it at the moment, but I'll tell you what I'll do this and then quickly hop over to there. Are we seeing the guitar on screen now, everyone? I don't know if that's working or not. I tried it earlier before I went live and it worked fine, but it just didn't give me the option to share this particular window. Allow. You are sharing your entire screen. There we go. I think you should be seeing it now. That is the current state of play with the latest John Robson signature model. What a beautiful finish that is going to be on there. It's making me get gas for a guitar that I've already got. You know, it's looking good, Dan.
Looks good. So do you want to? Yeah, it wasn't actually too bad to do. It was the first birthday I've actually. So I'll show you the real thing if you like.
Okay, go on.
It's same as photo, but I've got the neck on there now. So the light here is not great, so it looks probably doesn't look as good. But
that's a beautiful looking bit of timber. That really is.
That's the body. It's the same 5A maple as yours. Now the neck. Do you remember the what was it? This is number 4. So number 3 had that Pomeroy bird's eye effect mahogany neck.
Yep.
Kieran has got the same. So again, you might not be able to. It needs.
Oh, get the general idea.
Yeah. So it's got a highly figured neck. It needs a few more coats yet, but obviously I just put it together for the stream. But you can see it's got a nice heel joint on there.
Gorgeous.
I've done a similar thing.
I like the control cover. Yeah, that's
this piece of maple that I let in, same as yours. That is supposed to look like this. It will do when it's finished, but it's not plain ball because it's such a small piece of maple. But yeah, you can see it's probably a bit better there now. So it's had 2 coats, so it's just.
I see Chris Otterwell's asking in the chat, what's the finish, Dan?
Okay, so the stain is Crimson Guitars, and I put True Oil on this one. I was going to use a poly, and then just wire it down and wax it so it looked like an oil effect. But no, I think 2 oils done me proud on this one so far. So it's had 2 coats.
Yep. It's a beautiful looking thing. Right. I mean, I feel like a lot of the people who watch this channel already know you anyway. But do you want to just give us how did you get to the point where you're at now, where you're making guitars for fat northern lads and like me?
Well, I don't know. It all started. I'm a cabinet maker by trade, and it says it's on my website as well, so we've got a bit of a bio in there. So I started off when I was 16 as a cabinet maker in Yorkshire. Believe it or not, I lived in Yorkshire. And started off as a cabinet maker in Yorkshire. And I played bass in a band, and I was really hankering for to make my own bass. So my dad bought me a book. I think it was, which one is it? I've got it here somewhere. No, I haven't. It's in my workshop. How to make an electric guitar, anyway. And Melvin Hiscock. So, I read this book cover to cover and just dreamt of making a guitar. Then I got married, and then we had children. And the bass guitar went in the loft, and it stayed in the loft in every house that we lived in. So did the book. And then lockdown 2020, I got the book out. I thought, right, I'll have a crack at this. And that's it. The rest is history. So I've got the woodworking skills, and I was pretty decent at setting up guitars, but obviously I had to bring the two together. So,
yeah, well, I mean, it works for me, mate. Just a little bit of housekeeping. People are asking various questions about the spec of the guitar. So do you just want to give us a rundown of body, timbre, fretboard material, etc., etc.?
Yeah, of course. It's so it's a Sapele. It's the same as yours, John. So it's a Sapele body.
Yep.
And it's a 5A flame maple cap. And I think it's lucky. You can probably see the thickness of it there. It's about 6 to 7 mil, something like that. Probably started off as 9, but obviously during the process it thins down a little bit. The neck is Sapele, but it's pommely, so it's a species of quarter sawn.
Is Sapele something that often gets referred to as mahogany?
Yeah, it's a species of mahogany. So you've got Sapele, Brazilian mahoganies, all sorts of different mahoganies. And then the fretboard's rosewood, Indian rosewood. So on just incidentally on here, obviously on the headstock, I know on yours we had a logo issue, didn't we? And then on Gems I did the water slide, and then on number 3 I did, well, it's engraved basically, laser engraved. So this one's going to be laser engraved as well. Excellent. And on the reverse here it will have obviously JR 004, same as number 3. So we're progressing, we're getting there.
And it's a rosewood fretboard, yeah?
It's an Indian rosewood fretboard, yeah. I stained the body. I've done it right. I've done a YouTube video. I've not put it up yet because I haven't got a clue how to edit a video. And I started off in front of the camera thinking, yeah, here we go. And just started rabbiting on, and whilst I was doing this body. So this will be a YouTube video. I'm going to have to somehow condense it down because I think I've got my life story on there. yeah, that's something that, you know, I used to struggle to make a YouTube video under 40 minutes, you know. But yeah, this is going to have the Vanson Old Faithful classic 57s. It's going to have them in. The last one I did had Iron Gear Blues engine.
Yep.
So yeah, anything anybody wants, we can put in there. So I just thought when I started making these models, everybody would just have a maple like yours, you know, like Blondie. But obviously, people want different things, so that's fine.
We can't all be alike. And let's just do a little bit of housekeeping. There's another guitar I want to talk to you about in a moment.
Yeah.
But let's just have a look, see what people are being saying in the chat. Dan, where are we? Can you ask Dan if he's ever used Danish oil for a finish on a guitar?
I have. I didn't have much luck. It depends on the Danish oil, but it seemed to stay sticky forever. And no matter how much I rubbed and rubbed, you know, I just I didn't have much luck with it. It looked really nice, but it just always felt tacky. So I like True Oil. I've also used, I think yours. I don't think I used True Oil on yours. I think I used Crimson's finishing oil. That's good stuff as well. The beauty of the Crimson is you can it hardens quicker. So True Oil does, and True Oil goes off. The shelf life's not very good. But if I can find it, what I do, if anyone is using it, I just put a little bit of cling film under the lid, tighten it on, and leave it upside down. And it lasts forever.
Got you. And there's another question there from Anton. Dan, if it's oiled, does it need periodic re-oiling to keep the finish?
That shouldn't do, no. If it has enough coats. So with True Oil and any oil, if you give it enough coats, it's very hard, and then you buff it up. It's fine, absolutely fine. I mean, over furniture, yes, I suppose so, but guitars, no, they just tend to get better with age, I think.
Because we've got that's a question that I could have asked but didn't. So thank you, Anton, for asking that. Because we've got a kitchen worktop that was the three words that sold this kitchen worktop, the kitchen trolley worktop kind of thing, that sold it to me were no assembly required. So it just turned up with two chaps wearing overalls who kind of brought it in and plonked it down for us, and they gave us like a bottle of oil that it would need kind of a coat of every year or so. And to be honest with you, I think I don't think we've ever bothered, because you just forget, don't you? But
it's a thin oil, you see, whereas True Oil's got it's harder finish. So with a kitchen worktop, it's a case of saturating it and getting it to a point of saturation until it can take no more, and then it's good. And then you periodically just keep oiling it, because it's a very thin oil that goes into grain. And obviously with a kitchen worktop, you continually keep washing it down. Whereas you don't with the guitar. Exactly.
Yeah. A good point. It's the guitar doesn't get a bleachy dishcloth over it twice a day. So there's another guitar we need to talk about.
Yes. I don't have it, but I do have parts of it. Yes. The next one in the room is a Junior.
A Junior. Now, what happened here was Dan very, very generously said that he wanted to, because, full disclosure, I paid for Blondie. I bought that guitar, and yes, I do get a little bit of commission back from everyone that Dan sells, but, I didn't get anything for free. But Dan very generously, because it's going presumably better than you expected, you offered to build me a guitar. And it was like, I want to build you a guitar and you can have it. And just think about what you want. And I gave it a good coat of thinking. I really did. And I honestly couldn't think of what I wanted other than what I've already got. And it just seemed like, I wanted to share the look around a little bit. So basically I said to Dan that build the guitar, build whatever you want, and it can go to Zoe's place and they can auction it. So do you want to tell us a bit more about that guitar, Dan?
Yeah, so it's going to be LP Les Paul style Junior. It's going to have an ash top on there as opposed to a figured maple, and that's not a cost issue, because I don't mind if you said, you want well, it'd be a bit of a problem because I've done it now. So I've just glued it up this afternoon, so it's in the workshop gluing up. But yeah, so it's going to be a Les Paul Junior, mahogany body again. It's just, I've got lots of mahogany. I think it's a great material. So mahogany body, mahogany neck. I did toy with putting a bolt-on neck on, and then I thought, people think that's a cop-out, because I do quite like them with a bolt-on neck, just like yours, with the same neck, same shape and everything, which I might do as part of my range. But I wanted to do a proper neck on there. So so I've got two necks made because I'm making two at the same time. I thought I'll make one and sell it, make one and auction it. So this is just the neck blank, but you can see there, that's the head, and that's the head shape of it. Nice take on it. I like that sort of crest that you put on there, just that sort of asymmetric thing. That looks really cool. That's rosewood, but I've stained it down just to show you, because that's what's going to do. It's going to be polished and stained. You can see where the truss rod is in there. Now the fretboard, you can see I've just started shaping it. I got a bit impatient. Usually what I do is I put the fretboard on, and then I radius it. And while on a bolt-on neck, because obviously the neck sits on the bench like that, so I always fret it as well. So I shape it and fret it, do everything. apart from polishing the frets and then I shape the back of the neck. I do that because otherwise you get the bounce.
Just while we're on the topic of necks, Das Shaft's asking, how does Dan carve his necks? I use a flap disc on a grinder, super fast but very dusty.
Yeah, I am a bit nervous of the flap disc. I've never used it. I'll tell you exactly how I do it. So that there, I will rough that out. Usually I rough it out. I've sanded that up because I want to see. I was really keen to see what the joint was going to look like. What have I put there? Yeah. So I want to see what the scarf joint was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just a bit, because I've done 2 different joints. So you can see the scarf joint's there. The scarf joint is further up. So there's 2 ways to do a scarf joint. So I made 2 necks. So yeah, in answer to the neck thing, I will do this profile. I will profile it there, which I haven't done yet. And then I literally have a spoke shave. So I'll spoke shave it until I get more or less to the right dimension. And then what I do is I get, from a belt sander, the really tough sandpaper, and do that just literally up and down, up and down, up and down, non-stop until I get the right shape. And I don't have any templates for the neck whatsoever. I just literally keep going and do that and just keep going until my hands feel right on it.
The old way.
The old way. I know it's not just made for my hands, but if somebody says I want a C shape, I don't know. I seem to be able to do it somehow. I don't know. It's like
Jeff Rock's asking lefties.
And yeah, no problem whatsoever. I will make lefties all day long. It's the same process, so it's no problem at all. So
any upcharge for lefties?
No, because it's not at all. So you have a template, flip the template around.
Simple enough.
This is another neck. So the scarf joint is going to be somewhere up here. But anyway, this is roughed out. This one, I haven't got the fretboard on there yet, but you can see the truss rod in there. But just to show you the 2, one's wider than the other. So I don't know if you can tell that. And the shape's slightly different.
Yep.
So this is a bit more PRS-y.
Yep.
And that one slimmer. I'm quite liking this one because it's nice and slim and the strings won't be splaying out too far.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same. Yep.
The fretboard on this one, now it's Bolivian rosewood.
Oh, nice looking bit of wood.
I know. So somebody may pipe up and say, oh, well, that's Pau Ferro. So Bolivian rosewood is Pau Ferro. But it doesn't matter because it's rosewood and it's all about the colour. So if I see a piece of wood I like, I don't care whether it says rosewood or what, but it's Bolivian rosewood. So yeah, it's really nice. So, but that against the ash is going to look. Now, I wanted a contrast against the ash, and I didn't want.
So you mentioned the ash earlier, and you said it's not a cost issue. What made you choose ash for the top on the new guitar then? Because
I wanted something to look plain, but I've always fancied just making an ash guitar, to be honest with you, because I'm going to make myself an ash Telecaster. So yeah, I wanted to make it. I was going to use swamp ash for the body, and then I had some nice mahogany for the neck. And I thought, you know what, I'll make the necks out of mahogany. And then I thought, right, I've got some mahogany. So what I'll do is I'll just literally make the body out of mahogany. I'll put some ash on top, and the contrast will look really nice as well. Yep. So I just want to do something a bit different as well, so that when you look, because as you know, if you go on my website, you see nothing but T-shaped guitars, because that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been up to. So, some people say, oh, well, you haven't got any ranges and you haven't got enough stuff. But obviously, as I progress, there'll be more guitars on there. So the Junior's another model to be on there. And again, it's not, it's not, it's at the end of the day, I forgot what I was going to say about it. And it's not a flame maple top. What I did then, I caught Colin's comment, so I looked at that and forgot what I was saying. Collins just said ash is heavy. He's quite right, ash is heavy. Swamp ash is lighter. But yeah, if it was a heavy lump of ash, it's definitely for sit down players. But the Junior won't be heavy because the mahogany body's quite light, and so yeah. But yeah, so what's the next there?
Talking about timbers, just to go off on a bit of a tangent, we're talking about different types of timbers for Les Paul Junior style bodies. My old Gordon Smith, the most recent one, because I've had 2, That was a cedar body. What are your thoughts? Is there? That's about the only electric guitar I can think of that I know was made from cedar. Is there a reason why it's not a wood that people use generally?
What, cedar?
Yeah.
Cedar's an expensive timber, really. It's well, it certainly is if you want to clad a building with it. But yeah, so I mean, I noticed somebody just going off on the tangent. Somebody mentioned timber prices earlier, and yeah, they're through the roof as well. So yeah, cedar's a nice wood. There's nothing wrong with cedar. I think, especially if it'll take a colour nice as well. So if you get cedar, it's a very how can I put it? It's a very uniform grain on it. So I noticed your Gordon Smith was quite very plain, but it had like a reddy brown finish, didn't it? So there's nothing wrong with cedar. Great wood. I noticed some people now are using bamboo, which is
really
because it's fast growing. And it apparently a lot of sustains bamboo. So
that's interesting.
I thought you were going to go into the tonewood debate then.
No. I do have. Well, I've got a video coming up in January because what I'm doing at the moment is I'm making all my videos for January at the moment. Just to try, so basically I can have some time off over Christmas, and there's a video I'm doing about what part of it is about Telecasters, and it's like the thing I've always noticed is that any guitar that is Telecaster shaped, regardless of whether it's set neck, bolt-on neck, humbuckers, P90, single coils, trem, fixed bridge, top loader, string through, whatever. If it's shaped like a Telecaster, somehow or other, it always sounds a little bit like a Telecaster.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know if it's it tricks us into thinking it's a Telecaster or what. I don't know. I see Dave Lewis says there he uses Crimson cleaning and polishing products, which are very good, and the black shielding paint. I use their black shielding paint. It's brilliant. Yeah. I bought some cheap black shielding paint, and it wasn't water based or whatever based. It was just really smelly, and if you get that on the grain of the timber, on the front face, it's a nightmare to get off. Whereas Crimson's, it's fantastic stuff. So
yeah, he's a very clever bloke. Is Mr. Crow?
He is. You know what? Absolutely. I love watching his videos. And when I first started, back in 2020, what a long time ago. But I had an issue with the first guitar, which is the one up here that I made.
Yeah, I remember it well.
I had a slight issue with it, and it was something of nothing. I can't remember what it was now. And I thought, well, shall I? Go on, I'll just email him. You never know. Straight back. I had a to and fro, and he sorted it out for me. Brilliant. Yeah.
Nice bloke.
He is, absolutely.
He doesn't sound like he looks. Do you know what I mean?
No, he doesn't, no.
It's like you don't expect that voice to come out with that face.
No. His first videos, I couldn't really watch him on his first videos because he was a bit, I don't know what, but then as he sort of, well, it's like anything, isn't it? I'm not used to being in front of a camera, but now I think he's fantastic. He's like a bit of a Kevin MacLeod, Grand Designs, a bit like that, but obviously with guitars. So it comes across really well.
Let's see what we've been missing in the chat while we've been blethering away. I usually try and involve the people in the chat because usually it's the source of stuff to talk about in the video in the stream. So Deco Dude saying, so I could profile one of my necks I don't like. Basically just reprofiling it, just shaving it. I guess that's what people. I mean, I remember what's he called, Dave Simpson. He got a Harley Benton Strat copy that he didn't like, and he liked it, but he didn't like the neck. And the next day, he's back in another video saying how much he loves it. Now he's kind of reprofiled the neck. Is that a difficult job to do? I've never done it.
No, because most of the work's done, isn't it? So it's just a case then of to reprofile a neck. It's just a case of sanding it or whatever you want to use. I mean, I've got one of these. Have you seen? It's like a sander with a really thin. I don't know the name of it, actually. I've seen it at my dad's because my dad, Ben Crow, would have a field day at my dad's house. My dad's got every vintage tool you can think of, every tool you can think of. He buys tools for the sake of buying tools, but it's like a sander, belt sander, very thin. Lots of people use them. I've never used it yet because I just seem to love doing it by hand, and I can get necks done pretty quick now. But answer the question, to reprofile a neck's pretty easy, I would say. If you were to buy one of those neck profiling gauges, or a profile gauge, and copy another guitar or get the actual gauge with the radius on, use that, and then just keep filing away at it. Have you seen the saw cut files you can get?
Yes.
That's what I use to rough it out. And then, so you can use them. I mean, they make really short work of it. But if you're only taking a bit off, if you use one of them, you'd end up with big gouges. Do you know what I mean? You'd end up with big sort of tremolo. So yeah.
I mean, it's only very sort of relatively recently in the last few years that I've plucked up the courage to start doing things like fret jobs on a guitar. Because anything I could sort of turn, or kind of, a screw I could turn or an Allen key I could turn, I was okay with that, because I know if I mess it up, I can always turn it back. But if you're filing something, I haven't quite got the cojones to actually start kind of reshaping a neck yet. I've just seen
Kieran says, do you mean a rasp file? Yeah, it's a rasp file. And Brad says, Dan, now does Dan come from a family of woodworkers? I'm a fifth generation, so my father, my grandfather before that, and the grandfather before that were all carpenters. And then I'm a cabinet maker, but carpenters. And then it was goes back further. Then there were blacksmiths and wheelwrights. So all my father's side come from Ireland.
Fair enough. I was just trying to find that there. Another question about luthiery skills. I couldn't find it in the chat. I probably scrolled past it, but someone was asking, apologies, I can't remember who it was. How do you measure the fret distances on the neck when you're cutting the fret slots? And is there some kind of mathematical formula? I know about it in music theory terms. It's the 12th root of 2 for each step of the chromatic scale. But how does that translate on a guitar? So
there's a chart, and it's obviously we're standing on the shoulders of giants here. So people before us, Fender, Gibson, PRS, he's got his own scale, hasn't he? Basically, there's a formula for it. But I don't start doing what you just said. What I do is I've got the chart so I can measure it. But then what I have bought is I've bought some from Guitars and Woods, and I think Ben Crow uses one as well. And he uses a little circular saw and runs it across. But basically, it's like a notched. It's almost like the notched straight edge that you get, but it's very finely notched, and you get a pin with it. And I've got this like hand cut jig with fret saw in. So what you do is you stick the templates on the underside of your fretboard once it's all plain and straight, and you've got a square edge on, and then you just move it into the notch every time, and it cuts it perfectly.
Got you.
So I've got a 25, a 24 and 3/4, a 25 and a half. So I've got them all, but I have actually got all the calculations as well. I'll keep looking up because I've got a book and it's in there, but I don't know where it is. So yeah. So it's like anything, isn't it? We're all, lots of people knock Fender, lots of people knock Gibson, and these guys obviously that know what they're doing. The massive companies.
Well, as I understand it, Leo Fender's, people, the innovations he came up with, but I think it was Dan Irwin, if you remember him, who used to write for Guitar Player magazine. Maybe he still does. I haven't bought it in years. But I think he wrote a piece about the innovations that Leo Fender came up with in the 50s. And one of them was that he got a bunch of circular saws, table saws, basically, spaced at exactly the correct distances for all the fret slots, and then he could just do zoom like that, and all your fret slots are cut, rather than doing them one at a time and measuring, which that is such an idea that you think, well, why did nobody do that before?
Yeah. Well, you can get a really thin blade for your table saw, because I've got the Triton, same as Ben Crow's got in his home workshop. It's a Triton work centre. I will do a video I have done this video I've just done at my home workshop, but once I get it sorted, I'll do a walk around with it and everything. But I've got the same Triton work centre, so it can be a router table, it can be a circular saw. Expensive piece of kit, but it's well worth it. But he set it up on theirs with the same template as I've got, and so it can run up and down it. On the saw, but you need a really fine blade, and I can't find, not in this country anyway, I can't find a blade to do that. So I'm all for making jigs and making the process, quicker. But so I have looked at a CNC machine in the future, and people say, well, if you do that, it's cheating and what have you. But it's not. I think if I want to supply kits, let's say, for instance, I like to be able to do a kit guitar like Crimson do, and I couldn't afford to do a kit guitar by hand because it'd be £700 or £800. Do you know what I mean? I know it wouldn't be that much, but it'd be expensive.
Rexomatic's just asking, greetings from Phoenix. How do you adjust the intonation on a classical guitar or ukulele with no truss rod and a fixed bridge? Adjust the nut slots or change the bridge height?
Well, you certainly can change the bridge height, can't you? I will be quite honest with you. I make electric guitars, never made a ukulele, and I don't mess about with acoustic guitars. I've got an acoustic guitar here, which I did intonate, but that's another thing. I want to be able to make acoustic guitars eventually, but that's further down the line. But that's a whole different ballgame. So, honest answer: how do you intonate a ukulele? I've not got a clue. I really don't know. Hands up on that one.
I mean, for my money, I always think, well, you know, on an acoustic guitar, it's built for strumming cowboy chords. So if it's out of tune at the 12th fret, yeah, we just won't go there. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got one here, an old acoustic I've been messing about with. But
I mean, I had a lovely Yamaha acoustic years ago that was just the most gorgeous tone, but it sounded like an out of tune drunk singing. You know, if you got past the 7th fret, you just couldn't go up that high on that. But so you couldn't capo up there as well, which is a bit of a limitation. But you know, for just kind of open chord strummery, it was fine. It's just a compromise on some guitars, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why they have a step bridge, don't they, on acoustic? I keep looking down because I've got one down there. But yeah, I'd like a nice acoustic guitar, but it's I'm just looking at what's Dave Lewis said. Have you got a spray booth? No, I don't have a spray booth, but I have access to a spray booth. So yeah, everything's done by hand at the minute. So all stained by hand and finished by hand.
Let's just see what's going on in the chat. Let's scroll up a bit. Like to know thoughts on getting a magnetic pickup out of an acoustic to fix. But again, you're not the acoustic guitar guy, are you, Dan? But any thoughts on that?
So what's the question? Magnetic pickup? Or out of an acoustic?
I can put him up on screen. Like to know thoughts on getting a magnetic pickup out of an acoustic to fix.
You see, it's under the bridge, isn't it? I think. Well, mine is. Mine's under the bridge.
That'll be a piezo under the bridge, won't it? Though.
Yeah. So obviously, the bridge is glued down. With great difficulty, I imagine. It's almost like trying to get the pots out of a 335 or something like that, isn't it? Or even worse, I imagine.
There was a suggestion earlier on in the chat, actually, about making a 335 style guitar with an access plate.
Every time. Why would you not put an access plate on a 335? Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it's not. So acoustic guitars, I listen to when I'm driving about the place. I'm in the van. I listen to a podcast. I'm trying to think who it is now. It's Luthier on Luthier podcast. It's called Luthier on Luthier. Michael Baskin, American guy, and most people he interviews because in America there's luthiers everywhere, isn't there? And they're all acoustic guitar makers, and these guys have been doing it for years and years and years, and they've still not perfected it. And you just think to yourself, oh, Christ, I could make one, no problem, but it's an art, and to get one to sound right is. They've tried to. There was some guy on the podcast, and he was like this engineer come guitar maker, and he'd studied it beyond. It's the most mind-blowing interview I've ever listened to. And if you buy his book, you'll get like 80% there if you follow his pursuit. But after that, it's just like magic. You know, it's like, you know, you can go into a showroom, you can go into a music shop and pick up 4 Fender Stratocasters, and one might sing to you, and the rest might not.
Yes, that's something I often try and point out, which is the fact that, you know, when you're comparing like an expensive guitar with a cheap guitar, no brand names mentioned, but I think there's one on the wall behind me. You can see it there. You know, do they sound the same? Well, Possibly not, but then again, do two versions of the expensive guitar sound the same? You know, I know myself that, like you've just said, you know, you pick up two identical Fenders, two identical Gibsons, two identical PRSs, whatever, and one of them will just have that certain something that appeals to you. Just it will sound just that little bit different, and that's the one that, as you say, speaks to you, whereas the other one doesn't.
Well, talking of guitars speaking to you, you know that I've got this, but obviously I make guitars and I play my Squire and I love it. And then I just think it's a great guitar. And then I pick up this one here and I go, God, that's nice. And I'm not just saying, but there is a clear difference. I get that. But in terms of playability and just my go-to guitar is this Squire. It's actually a Fender on the headstock, but it is a Squire.
Is that a classic vibe? No,
it's not. I want a classic vibe, but it's a Bullet. Obviously, a string through body. I've had it since 2019. It was £108. I got it on offer. It was £108, and I told there's another YouTuber, and he bought it. He's around these parts. I forget what they call him now, but he does like budget guitar. It's not budget guitar shop, but that kind of thing. And then I told, you know, Fretboard Studios. Have you seen that? It's Rob Chapman's mate. He's just paid to go. This guy's called Mark, and he's called Fretboard Studios. He's a real nice guy, and his channel's brilliant. He calls it Andertons on a Stag Do. So him and his mate drink beer and just review gear. And he's just done a Christmas single. It's really good. But anyway, long story short, I think what happened was Rob Chapman put out I forget what it was on now. So basically, a bit like a GoFundMe thing, a startup thing, where he wanted to fund finishing off his album or something. And he said, if whoever pays this money, he never thought in a million years anyone would pay for it. Whoever puts this money forward, he'll crown them, he'll knight them Monkey Lord or something up in Malta, and he'll give them a guitar, and this guy Mark just come into some money, some inheritance, and thought, sod it, I'll go out and do that. So he texted Rob Chapman and said, look, I'm just about to hit buy, and he's like, whoa, because Rob Chapman's like, shit, who's doing? You know, I want this guy I want to be able to get on with this guy. I want to be a nice guy and all that. So he checked him out, and anyway, he went out there, and but yeah, his drummer bought one of these, and he's made up with it. But check out Fretboard Studios. He's just done a Christmas single. It's really good, really.
Fretboard Studios.
With a P for Mark.
Okay, and Steve Lamb's asking, Dan, have you considered building a semi-hollow 335 style? I
definitely have, yeah. It's on my list. So what I'm going to do is hopefully...
You might have a customer there.
Well, what I'm going to do hopefully is make a range of guitars, which this is what 2022 is going to be all about, making a range of guitars. So I'm going to have a junior. I'm going to have... Somebody also said, have you thought about do you make obscure guitars, or is it just all takes on Telecasters and whatever, you know, standard guitars? I don't like going too far off the beaten track, because I think it's nice to have your own stamp on things, and I think you should do that. But it's like anything, isn't it? If somebody brings out a car if anyone dare bring out a car or a record these days that's anything like, you know, other than the norm, people don't seem to like it, do they? So it's nice to make something.
I think there is a certain element of why reinvent the wheel? You know, it. I don't know if you saw it, but back in the 80s, there was, and I found it on YouTube the other day, actually, so I've watched it again. There was a documentary on Channel 4 called Twang Bang Kerrang or something like that, and it was a 1980s documentary about the electric guitar.
Oh,
and you know, there's a very, very young and fresh-faced Andy Summers on there demonstrating his new effects rack, you know, which is probably these days you could buy like a Sonic Cake Twiggy Blues or something to do everything that would do. But the point that was made on that documentary a few times was that back in the 50s, Leo Fender and Les Paul essentially got it right. And all anybody has done since then is, you know, just tweak those basic designs.
I mean, the end of the Stradivarius, and they do say, though, that this guy that was talking about on the podcast, that was talking about acoustic guitars, he did say that we haven't yet perfected the guitar. We haven't yet perfected it. No one's perfected it. But yet, years and years ago, 100 years ago, they perfected the violin. It's been done. It's perfected. It cannot be improved upon.
You see, I would dispute that, because I would say that, you know, all of the best electric guitar tones have already been recorded.
I think I'm on about acoustic, really, rather than electric.
Oh.
Yeah. I think electric definitely is. I think it's already been done, definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, Twiggy Blues, that's what you were talking about, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep. £45 I got that for.
Jammy bugger, I paid more.
I seen your video, because I bought the Rock Stage, and I didn't like it. Oh, I just didn't get on with it. So, and then that Twiggy Blues is brilliant.
The Rock Stage is very much the 80s pedal.
Yeah.
And the, you know, it'll do that big hair metal sound. It also actually can get pretty close to the old Tom Scholz kind of Boston guitar sound with that. But yeah, I'm with you on the Twiggy Blues. I use it all the time. I've got a video coming up in January on the Twiggy Blues. Let's have another look in the chat, see what people have been talking about behind our backs. Dan, who's your favourite guitarist? Steve Luthier. Oh, yeah, okay. Badumch. Who's your favourite guitarist,
My favourite guitarist is John Robson. No,
the check's in the post, mate.
My second favourite guitarist is still alive, luckily, and it's Eric Clapton.
Yep.
Oh, I've got something you're really not going to like. And
go on.
If you do like it, you can have it for Christmas. So, Eric Clapton, August album on vinyl.
Oh dear. Oh no. No, that you see, he was. That was an album that he'd kind of cleaned up and got himself sober, and then having read his autobiography, he'd started thinking, well, you know what, I'm sober, I can have a drink every now and again. Yeah, and he did, and of course he ended up kind of back on the welly again. And that was an album he recorded.
Sorry, I apologize. And bit of off the wall, but I like Prince. I think he's great.
Prince was, I mean, he was an oddball, wasn't he? But you know, anybody that can, if you're a bit of a jazz fan like I am, then you will know of a John Coltrane tune called "Giant Steps," which is it's a bit fiddly. It's a bit tricky to play, it has to be said. You know, and Prince used to, as part of his live show, apparently, used to do a solo guitar version of it live, blindfolded.
Jesus Christ.
You know, he had that level of virtuosity on drums, on bass, on keyboards. You know, he was
The women, there's a YouTube video, I just keep watching it because I remember it was in 2006, he was on the Brit Awards, and I came home and I'd been working, I sat down, and the wife, she's like, I don't want to watch that video. I watched the Brit Awards and I was like, it came on at the end, and there was people, Joss Stone was there all dancing, everyone's dancing away, and there was who was it, Will Young, he's in the audience, he's just like that. And you can see him thinking, I could never be like that. As long as I live, I'm not going to be as talented as that. And it's brilliant. And then the girls were all dancing and doing what have you. But then they'll swap over dancing, and one gets on the drums, and then one gets on the guitar, and they swap up, and it's just unbelievable. Absolutely, they're all girls. I think the bassist was a bloke, and the rest of them were just girls. And he was in the end. Have you seen it when was it a concert for George when he did the concert for George Harrison?
Yeah.
Through the Telecaster.
Well, that's not a Telecaster.
Oh no, it's not a Telecaster. It's the Hofner, isn't it?
It's the Horner.
Horner, yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the few guitars that there's now actually a copy of a copy.
Yeah, Danish Pete's got one, I think.
Yeah, because it was a Telecaster copy that for some reason Prince just decided I'll buy the copy of the Telecaster rather than the Telecaster.
A bit like the Slash.
And now Harley Benton do a copy of the Horner copy of the Telecaster, which
Somebody just said, what's that? Anyway, Sheila E was the drummer. He's right. Yeah, she was.
Yeah. Let's have a look, see what else we're talking about in the Prince. Time Prophet saying, been trying out the S-Gear amp, That'd be the Scuffum plugin. Really good on latency, but it is annoying. It cuts out any other sound, so I can't use drum bit in the background. That is something that, I mean, that's more of an IT question, and that's one I don't have an answer to, unfortunately. I cannot use guitar rig or bias amp or anything like that and have any other audio playing. So I can't use bias amp to play along with a jam track unless I load them both into Reaper. But that's you need to ask my missus. She's the ex-IT manager, so but unfortunately she's downstairs. Oh no, it's not time for the soap operas yet.
No, yeah, is
it? Let's see what else we got. Let's put you up on screen there, Anton. Opinions on the fake Jimi Hendrix $10 million guitar. I don't know if you've seen that.
I saw Mike's obviously video on it yesterday.
I think I can't see that it's the same guitar.
No, I think, I mean, like Mike said, I'm not doubting that Jimi Hendrix may have played it. We don't know. But if he was going to part with 10,000 and mine 10 million, you do your research. And I know serial investors, these people with lots of money, they do rely on sort of experts, but there just isn't enough evidence. And this guy who's selling it or whatever, the agent, he won't answer the questions. He can't answer a straight question. He just thinks, really, I think. I don't know what's happening there, but and even Paul Davies has just washed his hands of it now. Well, he's just backed right off, and I can see why he has backed right off. But
yeah, I mean, I guess Paul made a video in good faith,
absolutely,
and he's copped a load of grief for it. I can understand why he would want to say it's just like life's too short. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know Mike's not doing his live stream tonight because of it, is he?
You what, mate?
Mike's not doing his live stream tonight.
Is he not?
No. He just put. We talked a lot yesterday. He just doesn't want to. I don't think he wants tonight's live stream to overshadow what happened yesterday. He wants to let it all sink in. And so you know what he's like. His dog when he gets. It's like a dog with a bone. Once he gets, but he'll get to. Hopefully, Mike will get to the bottom of it.
He's a bit of a terrier, like, isn't he?
Yeah, even if he's just a thorn in the side, and just keep. He's got to speak up. He's got to speak up. And like Dave Lewis said, full marks to Mike for doing that video. I think fantastic. I've shared it as well on Instagram today because, I can't see anyone parting with 10 million that easy, but apparently there's 4 or 5 guys talking about it. I don't know, because salesmen say that, don't they? Whenever I've just bought a new car and they kept ringing me up saying, we left it a week, and they kept ringing up saying, there's somebody looking at it today and there's somebody coming for it. You're going to miss out. And we never missed out.
Yeah. By the way, flake, everyone.
I'm drinking tea tonight. A cup of tea. Yeah.
On a Friday night, that's sacrilege. I was going to say something, then I got distracted by me beer. Not for the first time. It's the Hendrix Strat. That's where we were, weren't we? I remember back in 1990, 31 years ago, when I think it was Mitch Mitchell sold a Hendrix Strat, and it fetched $198,000, or was it pounds? I can't remember. 198 grand, which back then that was a lot of money. It was. I remember reading an article in Guitarist magazine where Nev Martin, a guy I've got a lot of time for, great player, and I used to love his writing style as well. But he kind of remember he was writing a thing, says, well, I wrote a piece about this when it was up for auction, where I said it might fetch 10 grand. And people said, you need to, you want your head looking at, it'll never get that much. And it actually went for nearly 200 grand. But, in 30 years, we've gone from a guitar that Hendrix played actually fetching nearly 200 grand to a guitar that maybe he did, maybe he didn't play, being touted for 10 million. It's
the man himself.
It's a funny old world, isn't it?
It is. I see Mike's just come in.
How are you, Mike? We've just been talking about you.
His ears were burning. Absolutely. I just wanted to say, you know, this charity guitar.
Yeah.
We were talking about auctioning it off and letting Zoe's Place auction it off. But as you know, I was a bit concerned, thinking, well, I mean, their knee's greater than mine. I want it to go for a lot of money, not because because obviously I'm not making any money out of this. And like I say, it's their knee's greater than mine. So I have seen. So I was saying, I was thinking more of having a raffle than doing a.
Yeah.
You know, than going that way. I didn't want to see it on eBay, really. I don't know why. I just thought that somebody might snap up a bargain, especially this time. Well, it's going to be next year anyway. But I noticed that because Zoe's Place sent me, and they send the emails around, don't they? If you donate them, they send you emails. And somebody must have donated a PlayStation 5, so they were raffling that, and raffle tickets were £10. And I thought, right, that's great. I think they're raffling. So I was thinking of setting up a raffle through Facebook. Or whatever, but we'll speak to Zoe's Place because it looks like they're starting to do raffles now.
When I kind of give guitars to Zoe's Place, basically what I do, there's a lady I speak to there called Chloe, Chloe from Zoe's, and she lives locally and she has to pass our house on her way to work, so she just pops in on the way to work, picks up the guitar, and they go on eBay. But I have made it plain to them that with this guitar, we want, it needs to have a little bit more special treatment. So it has gone higher up the food chain, and they are going to be looking at doing something special with it. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I was looking for some sort of not celebrity backing. It sounds a bit grand, that, doesn't it? But I did go down one route, as you know, and I didn't get anywhere with that because said famous person didn't really want to know. But I could just do with some we could do some merch somehow from wherever, just to bundle in with it. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, it would be nice, and we're saying this live on the internet right now, so maybe it'll get passed around and what have you. But if anybody knows anybody famous from this neck of the woods, I'm thinking of people like, well, the two famous musicians from this part of the world, I guess Chris Rea and James Arthur, or maybe Paul Rogers, or someone like that who could, just lend their signature to it or something like that. That would be...
Yeah. Chris Rea would be fantastic. But, because you've got, who's the big one? Is he from Newcastle or Sam Fender? Is he? I know, obviously. Just naming names now, but doesn't he? Sam Fender, does he come from up your parts?
No idea, mate. That's those two words, Sam and Fender. That's the first time I've heard those in the same sentence. But then again, I'm not plugged into the hit parade, as the youngsters call it. Right, Dan. Well, it has been an absolute blast having a bit of natter with you. Are you going to sign up for some more guitar lessons, mate?
I certainly am. Yeah, I certainly am. I need to. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. If I can play guitar as good as I can make them, I'll be doing well. But yeah, so I'm definitely improving because now I make sure I have the time to practice. But what I'm not doing is looking at the theory. So I need to brush up on the theory.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been a pleasure. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, and thanks, John, for all your support so far. You've been fantastic.
Oh well, thank you for I mean, bloody hell, I've got a signature guitar. I would never have thought of that 18 months ago. Anyway, we've been on about an hour and I've got a takeaway turning up imminently, so I'm going to go downstairs and spend some time with the wife and the dog. And once again, everyone, there is no live stream next week. I shall be taking some time out to just have some Christmas time with me and the family. There is a video going up on Christmas Eve, though, so make sure you check that out. And don't forget the live stream at 11 a.m. on Christmas morning. So, come and have a beer with me and we'll compare notes on what Santa's brought us. But for now, once again, thank you all for turning up. Thank you especially to Dan. Let's bring him back in again so he can say bye-bye to everyone. There you go.
See you later.
Right, see you later, Dan. Anyway, thanks once again, everyone, for turning up. Thank you, Dan. I'm going to go and drink beer and eat a takeaway and enjoy me Friday night. I suggest you all do the same. So for now, time, gentlemen, please. Bye-bye.